that each particular community is facing. And this is where our little Oma on the shelf comes into play. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Farieda Abrahams is a 63-year-old mom of 3 and a granny to 6. And she's about to launch her second book after the success of her first book, which was called My Lover, My Country. She also, I think what motivated her, and she will tell us now when we chat to her, is that by the words of comedian Solly Philander, he said one day that Cape Town's people have stories to tell, but are too lazy to write it. And this is what really got her going. To write, I think, something so pertinent and so important and relative. I think it's a book that everybody needs to pick up to be able to make a difference in someone's life. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very, very good morning to you. And Jazakallah so much for joining me on the show.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How are you doing today, Sister Farieda? Or should I call you Auntie Farieda?
You can call me Sister Farieda, Mishwidat.
Okay,
I am, alhamdulillah, I'm just busy with interviews this week. Every day radio phone me, or the newspaper people phone me to hear about my book.
Sister Farieda, interesting that you come out of the Sultan Bahu Center, and I've been also serving there for that many years in my own capacity. So I kind of relate to the Drug Rehabilitation Center and the phenomenal work that they and yourselves have been doing there. And I think this is what edged you on to write this particular book called The Storm Within. And I just want to bring it to the listeners' attention that this particular book is a true story. It's a reality story. It's something that you've encountered and you thought you needed to bring it to the fore and make people understand the types of situations people are facing in this particular community.
So true, my sister. Addiction is being frowned on, you know. People look down on the youth. Mostly the youth we know are on drugs, right? Instead of saying to each other, the families can just unite and say, look, what can I do, my sister, to help you with your son or your daughter? You know, family support is so important, you know, to get rid of this problem. I want people to be there for each other, man. We are the times when every child was my child. Your child was my child. My child was your child. That is the only way we're going to get rid of this problem.
I so agree with you. And this is what I was just talking to the 2 previous authors that I spoke to, and I think we all have the same sentiment, is that we need to start being relationship builders in society where we understand the type of situations our community is facing and start finding the necessary solutions by helping each other and creating a network where we can then move ourselves forward and say, how do we solve this problem? I mean, looking at the story of The Storm Within, it's such a relative story about a girl and the type of situations she faced in her life. And how, you know, with world of drugs, Satanism, prostitution, and this is happening every single day, and we're not realizing that, you know, until we grab that bull by the horns and find the necessary solutions and become activists in our own way, that this is not going to go away, but only get a whole lot worse.
So true, my darling. You know that I've just met with a client, no? She's not being supported by a family, you know. Another family who lives around the corner from them is assisting her, this whole family united to help this girl. And she says to me, if it wasn't for their support, she wouldn't have taken her life back. Can people hear how important it is that families support their loved ones?
And you know,
He
this
is
is just
fully
one story. Paint the picture. I mean, you've been there. You've been at the Sultan Bahor Drug Rehab. You've been, of course, writing short plays about all of this. Paint the picture
yes.
to our listeners to make them understand the seriousness of the situation that we're facing at present.
You know, oh, it's so sad. Some people live in denial. Oh, it's maybe just the phase my child is going through. You know, when they suspect anything, they need to take action. You know, speak to the individual. Ask him, what can we do to help you? Where can we take you? Please, do you want to stop with us? We are there for you. You know, there's so many stories I've been hearing over the 16 years that I've been here. You know, one person asked me, what do I think makes people go on drugs? I said, there's so many reasons. You know, there's loneliness, there's low self-esteem, there's childhood trauma. You know, there is abuse, physical, mental, emotional. You know, overconfidence. You know, wanting to fit in with your friends. All those things plays a role. And of course, the environment also plays a role.
That's so true. Sister Farieda, would you say that the key word that we can use here to be able to solve many problems is communication?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That's very important. Communication is important. You know the times when I grew up, we used to sit around the table at supper time. Mom and dad would ask, how was your day? That's not happening anymore. Kids are sitting with their phones in their room. They spend most of their time on social media instead of the family sitting together and finding out how they are, how each other are. Communication is vitally important.
I agree with you there. It's about having to create that time during the day. I know life has become very demanding and the times have changed, but it's also being able to make ourselves understand that if we don't do that form of communication, we're not going to tap into the issues that our young people are facing and being able to define their needs on how we can help them find those solutions to be able to move forward.
So true, my sister. So true.
What has it been like for you? I'm sure it's also, facing this type of situation on a daily basis and seeing what these people go through. Has it not also just affected you in many directions where, you sit back and you ask yourself, how is it that I can make a difference? And I love the idea that the first thing you did was you wrote the story so that you can entice people to read it and change their perspective through narrative.
True. True, my sister. Can I just explain to you this? I've got a friend who used to live in District 6 with me. His mom got married to an American, and she and him, they moved over to the United States. Right? He came back to South Africa a few years ago, and he explained to me how it works there. I've got an idea, and I wish our government would do that. He said to me he was caught with meth. They call it in the United States. And he was given an option, 2 years rehab or 2 years jail. So he obviously chose rehab. But then also in those 2 years, you need to learn a skill there so that you can become a productive member of society. So instead of throwing our children in jail, put them in a rehab for a long time and let them learn a skill. So when they come out of rehab, at least they've got a skill they can fall back on, you know. But now when they come from jail in our country, they are worse off, you know. There they learn better skills, how to get drugs or how to sell it, you know.
Mm.
That is one
So,
idea.
so do you think that besides the book, we have to become activists to be able to educate as far as that particular aspect is concerned? In schools, they need to maybe inculcate into the curriculum the sort of issues that you would face if you get onto drug abuse. Have social workers come into the school on a should we say, a basis that is often where they determine if there's any kids having those types of issues, so that you nip it in the bud when it starts. Because what happens is, and as we know, substance abuse is a very difficult thing. To be able to wean somebody off is not one of the easiest things.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
You went through that. I
yes.
mean, you looked. Let's talk about your experience at the Sultan Bao Drug Rehabilitation Center. I mean, I know they're doing absolutely phenomenal work. Seeing the guys that have come out of Mitchell's Plain, I mean, some of them, even the way they were rehabilitated, have even degrees today. So it goes to show
Yes.
that you can change your life around.
Oh yes, a lot of our staff, yes. They and can I just add also, just like we teach them, we also learn from them. You know, a lot of our kids are very talented. You know, honestly, man, that is what I picked up. Very, very talented. You know, if they were just given the right guidance, maybe they wouldn't have gone into drugs. You know, and given the opportunity that they need, it wouldn't have gone this far. But I feel that our government are too lenient, you know,
Oh yes,
for the
okay.
drug merchants. They are too lenient. That's why, look, when I grew up, there was 2 houses in the whole of our township selling drugs, and they were very far from each other. Now that same area has got over 50 houses that sell drugs.
Sure.
So something tells me somewhere something is wrong.
So what you're saying is that we need to look at our system and ask
There
ourselves,
we
how is the
go.
system working, and in which way is the system ad hocing to what you're doing? Because at the end of the day, yes, well and good. I mean, the center's doing phenomenal work, and you also did phenomenal work at the center, but it's not going to help if the elements are right there in front of you and readily available.
There we go. It's easily available. I can just walk over the road by me and I'll have drugs, you know, and they even have this thing of giving free samples.
Sure. Coming back
And
to
yeah,
your
and the
story.
drugs of the day is highly, highly addictive.
Yes, of course. Coming
Highly
back to your
addictive.
story, The Storm Within. Let's talk about our character. Um, it's obviously a true story of this young girl. What is
Yeah,
her,
it was
her
inspired.
status and what is her status and situation like right now?
To be honest with you, she's still going through a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff, really. If you read the book, no, you will have an idea what I'm talking about. You know, she is in and out of rehab till
Sure.
today. You know, yeah, yeah. If you read the book, I will give you an idea what I'm talking about.
Yes, and it's
But
not
she
one of
is
the.
in and out of
I
rehab.
suppose we need to, from a societal point of view, understand that maybe, because she's been so hardcore into this. I mean, from reading a little bit that was sent to me, it's very difficult to just give it up in a hurry. I suppose it would be a process that one would have to follow.
Yes, definitely it's a process. And they do need rehabilitation because at the rehab, we teach them, you know, to change their thinking, right? And how to improve their lives. We teach them that, and they got to start practicing it every day. That's why we send them home, you know. And trying to put someone in a rehab where they're missing patients, they will definitely come clean. You know, there's no drug merchants there, right? And there's no family. where you can say
Uh,
that,
you brought up, Sister Farieda, you
yeah,
brought up something very interesting. You spoke about the fact that she's in and out all the time. How easy or how difficult is it for a person to be able to get weaned off from this? And what sort of support structure would they require from community and from their families in order to be able to actually get out of that type of pattern?
but you see, if you don't have family support or you don't have community support, it will be a very difficult job to get a person clean. No, that family unity for the loved one is 100% the best step that could happen in any addict's life. We don't like to call them addicts, we call them loved ones.
Mm-mm.
That would be
Yeah, no, because I think labeling them just kind of makes it a whole lot worse because they look at themselves in a negative connotation. And that doesn't help to the type of situation they're in because it basically takes them back to the substance because they feel, they've been labeled by society. What do they have in their lives? They have this total negativity. Everybody's looking at them in a different light. So rather just, so they take it to take the pain away. And I think that's what we need to look at.
Mm-hmm. Now look at this girl I'm speaking about. A neighbor took interest in her problem. A neighbor. And because of this neighbor bringing her here, supporting her, she decided somebody cares, so I will take back my life.
But of course, it hasn't been it hasn't been an easy transition, I suppose, because the thing is, it's like you say, it's just not one aspect of the negativity. You're bringing up something very interesting in this book, and it's Satanism. And I think people are not paying attention to that and the prostitution that is going around. That's a very scary thought.
Yeah, they become so desperate that they start selling their bodies for their drugs. That is currently happening all over.
Sure. I think that's a very scary thought because the thing is, one negative thing is leading to a whole lot of others due to desperation. And I think, what sort of support structures do you think we as communities need to do when it comes to people like this? When we come across them, how do we deal with them? How do we try and maybe just help them out in some way?
They can just ask them, would you like to change your life? They will obviously say yes because it's a hard life out there when you're on drugs. They are struggling out there, especially when they're thrown out of the house. We would never encourage a parent to throw their child out of the house because that child is going to get worse on the street. That's how my boss say, never tell people to throw their kids out of the house.
Would you say that? Would you say treating them with love and kindness is going to change the situation?
Love plays a big role in anybody's life. Love plays a big role. We treat them with kindness, love, and care. We don't want them to feel, I don't want to go back to that place tomorrow. So we treat them with love and kindness. Yeah. And we don't put pressure on them to do anything. We would encourage them, but we won't pressure them, because it is a process that they need to work through. That's
true. That's very true. We're going to go for a quick ad break, Sister Farieda, and we'll be back with you in a second.
Okay, sure, sweetheart.
Every 60 seconds, a silent pandemic claims the life of a child. Unsafe water is having a devastating global impact on health and livelihoods. Islamic Relief is at the forefront, providing clean and safe water to vulnerable communities around the world. Our tailored approach to sustainable water solutions enable families not just to survive, but to thrive, ensuring they stay healthy and safe. Give water, give life with Islamic Relief.
These days, I'm more health conscious than ever. So tonight, it's stir fry for dinner, cooked in healthy Helios pure sunflower cooking oil. Helios is pure sunflower goodness, packed with omega-6. That's good for your heart, and is approved as part of the Heart and Stroke Foundation eating plan. Dinner's ready! Helios, pure sunflower cooking oil. A healthy family is a happy one.
For a long time, we've lived in a centralized world, where institutions held the all-important data and confirmed all transactions. Those times are over. Welcome to Libertas Group, a blockchain development company boasting an ecosystem that continually redefines the way we do business. Our blockchain is decentralized, making it immune to hacking or alteration, putting the power back in your hands with no middleman so you can focus on the growth of your business. Libertas, the simplest investment choice you'll make.
Reliable access to clean water could save thousands of lives each day. With proper sanitation and easy access to fresh, clean water, communities can flourish. Our Thirst Relief Appeal provides clean water to communities in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East by building deep wells and providing sustainable water and hygiene solutions. A monthly donation of as little as 700 Rand could build a well for a community in need. That's only 23 Rand a day. Donate today. www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 11 00 573. Penny Appeal. Small change, big difference.
Breaking stereotypes, moving boundaries, joining hands. Salam Media. Humanity sets the agenda.
Welcome back, and you are tuned into the mid-morning show with myself, Nafeesa Dangor, talking very serious, relative, important topics that can help us move ourselves into a better community, a better lifestyle, and a better quality of life. And talking about that with Sister Farieda Abrahams, of course, about her book, The Storm Within, which relates to, should we say, a reality story about a particular person going through, a young girl who has moved from, of course, innocence into a world of drugs, Satanism, and prostitution. And it is a true story. And I think it's very gutting to think that we're living in a society like this, where we need to, of course, start reflecting on the types of situations we're in and asking ourselves how we can find the necessary solutions. And that's what we've been talking. Welcome back, Sister Farieda. Before we left, we were talking about how difficult it has been for you with this transition. And it was so nice to see that, of course, the neighbor of this young girl had decided to step in to give her that necessary, should we say, support structure that she required. And I think that's what's important. You need that spinal cord, whether it's your family or somebody in society that can come and hold your hand and say, you know what, we're going to give you a second chance. You know that you can have a better quality of life and not live what you're living right now. Because I mean, if you look at it, everything that she's living at this point in time is very much on the negative side of life.
Yes, you're right, my sister. If this neighbor didn't jump in, she said she wouldn't have known what would happen to her.
Talk about your 4 short plays that you did. What was the essence of it? What did you want people to take back with them after watching your plays?
The first play was to teach the youth their actions, how it affects the mother. That's why it was called Tears of a Mother. The second play was about how it affects the day. The third one was how it affects the family. And the fourth one was how it affected the community. That's why it was called Addiction Ain't Fiction. It's a reality. So my idea was to show the clients how it affects society as a whole, how addiction affects them.
Mm.
Yeah, I wrote those
It's
four plays
it's so
about
nice to see that
6
you've
years ago.
taken Solly Philender's words and turned it into something so purposeful. He said people have stories to tell, but they're lazy to write, and it got you going. But I think it got you going in such a
Mm.
phenomenal way where you realize that, you know what, I can go back and write any story. But the stories I want to write is ones that are going to be able to help people change their lives for the better.
That's so true. That is so true, my darling. That's why I wrote the first one, was to speak about the pain that I felt as a child being thrown out of District 6, how we fought the government in the 76 riots, you know,
Mm.
the unfairness that was going on in our country in those years, how it affected me as a child.
Mm. I want
Yeah,
to congratulate you because I believe your first book, My Lover, My Country, is being considered for a movie.
true. Yes, it is. It is, yes. We're just waiting on the NAV, get the national film and video industry, to give us the
Mm.
funding for the movie.
We're so looking forward to that, and I want to congratulate you. You've definitely, as a citizen of this country, and as a Muslim woman, has really made us proud of you to see the type of achievements you've made, but it's being done with very, very serious purposes. And I think that's what's important. It's not just a movie to look forward to, but the connotations behind the movie, I think, are important. And of course, the book itself, to show that although people have gone through these types of situations, we as South Africans on the whole have come out brighter, in the sense that I don't know if you noticed, during COVID-19, many people showed what the word Ubuntu means, where we started coming together and helping each other to be able to build ourselves up, especially through the riots that occurred out there in Durban as well. It went to show that as South Africans, we're not going to sit back and just wait for something to find those solutions. We go out and we create them.
Yeah, that's what I love about our country. When we
Mm.
have crisis, our people, they can deal with anything.
That is true. What would you like people to take back from My Lover, My Country?
That we are all humans, you
Mm.
know. We all come from one God, and we need to care about each other irrespective of color. I mustn't see a
Mm.
white woman. I must see
Mm.
it's a woman, you know.
Mm.
But the race thing is messing up the whole world. Really, it's
Mm.
messing up the whole world.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I
I
so
don't
agree
see
with
a
you.
black man. I see a man.
Mm.
And I mean, our children, when they're small growing up, they would say, I saw this man. But as time goes on and they grow up, it would be, oh, I saw this black man. You know,
Mm.
the race thing. We all humans. That is
Mm.
what I want people to realize.
That's
On
true.
this
It's so nice to see that, even when you were at Sultan Bau, the one day they had that interfaith discussion, and it was
Mhm.
phenomenal to see that people got to, I think there was this misconception, and people got to understand Islam by visiting the mosque and getting told about the different types of things in our cultures and stuff. And I think this is what it's about. We all need to start learning about each other. And I think that's going to create a better environment, because, like you were saying, we'll understand each other. Yes, we have diversity, we come from different backgrounds, but at the end of the day, we're still human beings, and we can still learn
We
to be
don't.
able to love and relate each other, and build each other up, as a, should we say, as a country on the whole.
So true, my sister.
Yeah. What
So
message would you like to leave our listeners with today? What do you think is the most important thing for them to take note of? Because I really think, I know your book is launching on the 4th of December. We're really looking forward to that. Are you going to be having a particular launch anywhere?
okay, my first launch is going to be the 4th. If there's like, let's say Johannesburg wants me to have a launch there, I will have a launch in Johannesburg as well,
Yes.
because my sister, there is people in Johannesburg that
Yes, we're
want
looking forward to that. We're really looking forward to that. So where can people get information about your book, and of course where they can purchase it, and once it's released, are the public involved in being invited to the launch?
I put an invite on these several invites on Facebook for the people to come. My fear is the hall I chose is going to be too small. And there's no social distancing and all that.
Yes.
The hall is going to be too small.
Okay, so that's in Cape Town.
And I have to call them. Yeah, in
Okay,
Cape Town.
so
My
Sister
fear
Farieda, which
also I had to phone.
Facebook address do they have to look at to find more information?
They can go on Facebook and just type in my name, Farieda Abrahams, because I have my cell number on Facebook as well. Or they can phone the Sultan Bao in Cape Town.
Okay. Yes, okay. That they could go to the Sultan Bao website, get the details, and then, of course, get the necessary from there.
Yeah, they can phone the Cape Town branch. I will courier it down to them whoever wants a book.
Okay, and what has this meant for you? What has this meant for you?
Sorry, I couldn't.
What has this meant for you, knowing that you've gotten these two achievements? I mean, My Love of My Country speaks for itself. It's a very strong book. It teaches you a lot about the types of issues people have faced, but how they've overcome it, and that we can be one nation. And this particular book also has taught us about the support structures and the Ubuntu we need to create to get over substance abuse. As you know, it's becoming rife in our country and it's overtaking everything. And soon we're going to be sitting with a huge situation that's going to be very difficult to deal with. So I think if everybody plays their part, it definitely is going to change. And I mean, Sultan Bao is one of them that's making milestones of a difference as far as the drug rehabilitation center is concerned. But it also comes from the community as such. And I really appreciate the fact that you've taken that time to write this particular aspect and make us aware of the type of situations people are facing out there.
What does it mean to me? I never thought someone would be interested in reading what I wrote. You see, I had the book My Love of My Country for a year on my cupboard. One of my colleagues told the professor at varsity, Auntie Farieda wrote a book and she doesn't want to send it to a publisher. And the professor asked me, "Did you write a book?" I said, "Yes, it's on my cupboard." He said, "How long is it on your cupboard?" I said, "A year." He says, "Bring it." I took it to varsity, and what they did, they immediately sent it to a publisher. He said, "Farieda, this is something South Africa needs, man. Because with your book, you are trying to unite our country, our people, And that is the message that you gave with your first book. I don't know what you're going to say about the second book, but the aim for my second book is that I want people to stop frowning on addiction. I'm not making excuses for the youth that goes on drugs, but the book will give them a better understanding why they go on drugs. Because in the back of the book, I've written additional information to educate people about addiction, how it starts with experimenting, how it becomes a habit, when they need to intervene, and to speak to the kids, at what stage. I've given all that information in the back of the book. It's not something I stuck out of my thumb. It's evidence-based information But our social worker here at Mitchell's Plain, Annalise Lumba, she assisted me, with that information. That's why I've put it in the back of the book. So my idea with my books is it mustn't just be entertaining, it is also educational as well. That's the ideas behind my book.
Well done. I must commend you. I must commend you. We make us very proud as South Africans for all your milestones of achievements, because it's made us look at ourselves, reflect, and of course try and educate ourselves and try and better our country in many directions. So Jazakallah so much. Congratulations in many directions. I'm definitely looking forward to try and get a hold of my hands on that book. And also, we want to wish you nothing but the best going forward with your movie. We're going to look forward to that too and chat to you before that. So do take care of yourself, stay safe, and Jazakallah so much for sharing such valuable, pertinent information with us.
Jazakallah, my sister. And give my salam to everyone in Joburg. Tell them I love all my
Alaikum salam. And we love you and we love your narratives, and we look forward to reading them and of course getting enticed into a better space. Jazakallah. Take care of yourself. Stay safe, my dear. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That was Sister Farieda Abrahams giving her take on her book, The Storm Within, which relates to substance abuse, very important topics, and that she's been writing very relative, real stories. I think you need to get your hands on that. On the 4th of December, she's going to be having her launch. Follow her on Facebook on Farieda Abrahams to get more information. I think this is something that's going to entice us and better our country in many directions. And based on what she just said, I read something by Steve Maraboli that I'd like to leave you with. It says, you were put on this earth to achieve your greatest self, to live out your purpose, and to do it courageously. So let's think about that, and let's see what we as citizens can do to better the quality of our own lives, but also about those around us. For myself and the team, we want to thank you so much for joining us on this absolutely inspirational morning, should I say, and an educational one, to be able to make us understand that we can have a better quality of life by creating that Ubuntu and support structures and building each other up. From myself, Nafeesa Dangor, and the rest of the team, have an amazing one. See you same time, same place next week, Thursday. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The Palestinian struggle continues.